Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking. I am your host, Archie Mitchell, and tonight we are going to be looking at a lot of content, ladies and gentlemen. We have got three big quick hits, and we have got a lot of highlight and low light reel to go through. We are coming off the heels of WrestleMania. That is right. WrestleMania is gone and done, and night one and night two, totally different stories, but still a good WrestleMania in all. And we're going to be looking at tonight with the highlight reel. We'll be looking at NXT Stand and Deliver, Monday Night Raw, NXT, MLW, AEW Dynamite, SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and AEW Battle of the Belts. So let's not waste any more time. Why don't you guys go ahead, buckle in, strap yourself in, pop open your favorite frosty beverage, and get ready as you hear me spew my venom, my hate, and my love for the world of professional wrestling. And we're going to start off with the quick hits. Number one, WWE sold on Sunday morning to Endeavor, UFC's parent company, for $9.6 billion. Now, I have no problem with this sale. We talked about this a while back, both on the Nothing But Trouble podcast, right here on If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking, and on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We all touched upon this quite a bit, and we said who we thought would be in the running. Endeavor was definitely not one that I saw coming, but they are now going to put the WWE and UFC together in a multi-billion-dollar company worth over $21 billion. So I'm all for it because if you know how to run the UFC, then you know how to run the WWE. And I guarantee you that this man that owns Endeavor is not an idiot. He is going to leave the powers that be in place over there in the WWE and allow them to run what they know how to run and get the job done. I think that it's going to be exciting over these next couple of months once the ink is finally dry on the contract, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what happens next. Number two, Vince McMahon apparently back in control on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. Now, I have to say that there's been a lot of conflicting reports in regards to this. If Vince is back in control, it was definitely a very lackluster night after WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw. We usually know that, the Raw after WrestleMania is huge. A lot of big things have happened, but about the biggest things that went on was Brock Lesnar attacking Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? To end out the show, Cody asking for another title match. Not really a whole lot going on there. But the conflicting reports are saying that Vince is nowhere near control, or that the WWE are allowing him to do what he wants for right now until Endeavor totally takes over, and then can tell him, "Hey, get the hell out of here." Yeah, whatever the case may be, Triple H is still firmly in control, in my understanding, and that was evident on SmackDown this week after Raw. And I have to say, whether it's Vince or it's Triple H, the product is going to suffer here and there. It's been great, but not everybody that Triple H has brought back was a home run. We've seen problems with Bray Wyatt. We've seen problems with the Good Brothers. It really, really goes to show that sometimes you need to weed out certain people on the roster and start fresh with ones in your developmental, in order to get things done. But, we live and learn. And finally, number three, Enzo Amore, aka Real One, has been released by MLW. I am, for one, I'm happy about this. I do not like Enzo Amore, and it really didn't have anything to do with the allegations that were brought forward against him. He was really starting to become an annoying fuck uh, on Monday Night Raw and as the Cruiserweight Champion. So the allegations only showed that he was more of a douchebag. And then even when they came out as not being true, his whole stance on it and saying that if he did do it, she knew it full well, whatever the case may be. He just came off like an asshole. You know what I mean? So he was doing pretty decent in MLW, feuding with Jacob Fatu, feuding with Microman, which made no sense, but whatever the case may be. And apparently he's been let go. Now, I don't wish anybody harm, and I don't wish anybody to lose their jobs, unless your name is Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Matt Cardona. But in any case, I think that Enzo Amore, aka Real One, needs to walk away from the wrestling business, continue to rap or whatever it is that he's going to do, be a hype man, whatever the case may be, and just completely walk away. His time here is done. Nobody wants to see him, hear him, or look, or even so much as deal with him wrestling because it's not very good. Um, Maybe on the independent scene, I don't know, as an attraction, but in a major company, it's just not working out. And I'm going to add a bonus, quick hit here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a good bonus though. The passing of Bushwhacker Butch Miller passing away this past week during the WrestleMania weekend. Our hearts go out to his family, and Bushwhackers were definitely a pretty good attraction tag team in the WWF back in the day. I remember seeing them when they first got here as the Sheepherders in the NWA, and then changing their gimmick, being with John Laurinaitis, aka Johnny Ace. It was just a different type of team, and his passing definitely leaves a major hole in this industry. But great legend, and I believe Hall of Famer. I'm not quite sure though. You don't hold me to that, but definitely someone who will be missed. So our thoughts, prayers, and heart go out to Butch Miller's family in his untimely passing. Moving on to the highlight reel, NXT Stand and Deliver from this past Saturday afternoon. It started at 1 p.m. And the weird part is that it started at 1 p.m., but these guys killed it at 1 p.m. We're going to go ahead and look at the entire card here. The women's ladder match, Indy Hartwell, Gigi Dolan, Lyra Valkyrie, Roxanne Perez, Zoe Starks, and Tiffany Stratton. All of these women did a fantastic job. I was a little dumbfounded that Roxanne actually got cleared to wrestle and the ladder match still happened. But I have to say, these women brought it. Great job to all. Indy Hartwell winning with the help of Dexter Lumis was definitely a nice touch. Seeing Gigi Dolan's former partner, JC Jane, coming out and spoiling Gigi possibly winning was great. Tiffany Stratton has moved up on the card, as has Zoe Stark. I don't know much about this Lyra Valkyrie, but she did pretty well in the match. And Roxanne Perez is already a star. So great job to all 6 women. The Creed brothers versus Gallus versus Tony D and Stax. A hard-hitting 6-way, a 3-way, but 6-man tag team matchup here. All 3 teams just brought it. And what can I say? Gallus is definitely a premier tag team and deserving of being the champions right now. I don't think the Creeds need them. In fact, the Creeds could even go to the main roster without becoming 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions. Gallus gets the win with the returning of Joe Coffey, Mark's brother. And, Gallus is at 100% and now the champion still. So, going to be interesting to see where we go from there. Men's Fatal 4-Way match between Wes Lee, Axiom, JD McDowell, Ilya Dragunov, and Dragon Lee. Wow. Dragon Lee has moved into the WWE very carefully and in a great way. Dragunov and McDowell, I want to see these guys feud forever because they are hard-hitting and incredible in that ring, technically sound and just brawlers. And Axiom, for what he is, a former normal wrestler, no mask, known as A-Kid, who no one was really taking seriously, to then be placed in a mask and given this mathematician luchador gimmick. It's really weird, but wow, great job by him. And Wes Lee is slowly becoming one of the best in NXT. He went over and got the win with his cardiac kick, and is still the North American champion, beating 4 incredible challengers. Number 4, Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller. This was a battle. Waller, again, showing me something in the ring. I may not like his voice or his character, but Grayson Waller has been killing it when it comes to being inside the ring. So great job to him. Johnny, though, did get the win after some great back and forth and fighting all around the ring because it was an unsanctioned match. Great job. Great job by all. Johnny Gargano gets the win. I hope he heads back to the main roster and finally gets a well-deserved push. Number 5, Kiana James and Fallon Henley defending the NXT Women's Tag Team titles against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Decent tag match. It wasn't unbelievable, but it was passable. And Isla Dawn and Alba Fire become a very uh, ridiculously sound tag team because everything they're doing as a tag team has been great. Um, from their characters to their tag team moves, double teaming, and everything that they get done in the ring has been phenomenal. Um, I hope that the Kiana James Fallon Henley stuff is done now, but by the looks of NXT, it's not. But Isla Dawn and Alba Fire are your new NXT Tag Team Champions, and I'm interested to see where they're going to go from there. And then finally, our main event: Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes for the NXT World Heavyweight Title. What a unbelievably sound and great 20-minute NXT title match. Braun Breaker got a lot in. It looked like he had the match won a dozen times, but Carmelo Hayes kept pushing and pushing and pushing and got the win on his end. Carmelo Hayes is your new NXT World Heavyweight Champion. He is him. Him is he. The him era has begun. And wait until you hear what we have coming up on NXT because I like where this storyline is going. Over on Monday Night Raw, Triple H's opening was incredible. I know I've used that word a lot lately, but he is doing a fantastic job when it comes to delivering these promos. And Triple H delivered on all and even got the fans over a little bit. He got them even more hyped when he introduced Roman Reigns after Roman continued being World Heavyweight Champion. He introduced Roman like they were buddies. It really got the fans to, boo and get more over. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns in-ring promo after that was solid. And I like that Paul Heyman said whoever's going to team with Cody tonight will not receive a World Heavyweight title shot from here on out. And then here comes Brock Lesnar because he can't challenge anyway. It really added to things, and I like the buddying actions that we saw from Brock and Cody. Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory, solid matchup, great matchup. Austin Theory gets the win, and I think that he's deserving of this push. He's finally got things moving in the right direction. Street Profits versus Owens and Zayn, really, really good tag match. Owens and Zayn have been on a killer push lately and beating everyone in their path, but the Street Profits made it look like they might get their win and become the tag team champions again. But Owens and Zayn gets the win in a really, really great effort by all. And finally, the main event did not happen. It was supposed to be Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. No, Brock Lesnar turns on Cody Rhodes and is now, I guess, a heel. Brock beat the crap out of Cody. A couple of F5s, one on some stairs, beating him down on the outside of the ring. And now the question is going to be coming up this Monday, and actually Monday Night Raw is airing as I say this. Why Brock? Why? So, it really left us on a cliffhanger for Monday Night Raw. Moving over to NXT, Pretty Deadly versus Tony D and Stacks. This happened during NXT Stand and Delivered. This feud was made after Stacks and Tony D didn't get the win. Pretty Deadly poked fun. Of course, don't poke the bear. Tony D and Stacks tried their hardest and really put up a great effort, but Pretty Deadly, who are a solid tag team, except again for their character and the way that they speak, and they're always, on my television. When it comes to being inside the ring, they are great. Pretty Deadly gets the win, and it'll be interesting to see if they move on to a shot at the World Tag Team titles. Dragon Lee taking on Nathan Frazier. What a great 20-minute outing by both. Dragon Lee gets the win, and he is in just 2 matches in and doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Great job by Dragon Lee. Great job by Nathan Frazier as well. Number 3, Indy Hartwell taking on Zoe Starks with the NXT Women's title on line. Zoe demanding a title match first night. Indy is champion, and she gets it. Indy got the win after a good back-and-forth matchup, but it was what happened after the matchup. The return of Cora Jade to take out Indy and lay her claim to being the next challenger for the NXT Women's title. I am interested to see what Cora is ready to do and if the generation of Jade will finally get some NXT gold. And finally, In the main event spot, Carmelo Hayes comes out, thanks everyone for supporting him, says that he had a great time at NXT Stand and Deliver, and of course he did. He became the champion, but he also wants to bring out Braun Breaker and thank him for the match. Braun comes out, shakes Carmelo's hand, says that he was just doing what Tommaso Ciampa showed him to do when he became champion. They hug. Braun goes to leave, and then he takes Carmelo and Trick out. Braun Breaker turns heel. So let's see 2 shows in a row, 2 guys who everyone was in love with and cheering like crazy. No, they are now both heel. Braun Breaker is going to flip with Carmelo Hayes. And instead of going to the main roster, Braun Breaker is going to stay in NXT, but as a heel this time around. I do hope we get to hear some more Steiner match. That is my favorite. Over in MLW now, number 1, a man called Manders took on Ricky Shane Page in an ECW rules matchup, a hardcore matchup, and these 2 guys beat the hell out of each other. Thumbtacks, tables, chairs, you name it. Raven and a bunch of Raven's new flock or whatever the hell they're called came out and beat down Manders before, during, and after the matchup. Page gets the win, but Manders was not done, and he continued the fight after the matchup. We actually saw Shane Page put a table through Manders. That's right. You heard me. Manders was laying at the bottom under the table. Ricky Shane Page drove through the table and, just put all his weight down through the table into a man called Manders. And Delirious taking on Lince Dorado for the MLW middleweight title. Great matchup. Great back and forth by these 2 guys. MLW has been pushing it on all cylinders when it comes to being on the Reels Network. I'm happy they have a TV deal. Believe me, if you're not watching, you are definitely missing out. AEW Dynamite was next on Wednesday night, and we got Jay White's debut during the opening segment. It looked like it was going to be Juice Robinson taking on Ricky Starks, but no. Jay White debuts, and he helps Juice take out Ricky. And I guess the Bullet Club is now in full effect in AEW because Jay White is now All Elite. The House of Black taking on the Best Friends was a great 6-man tag match for the 6-man tag team titles. Best Friends may be a comedy act, but they know how to get it done in the ring. But the House of Black was a little bit stronger, and Aleister Black leads his team to victory one more time. We had Jamie Hayter defending the AEW women's title against Riho. Good 20-minute battle between these 2 women who have never met before, in my opinion. If I'm thinking straight here, don't hold me to it. This is their first time meeting, and it's for the AEW women's title. Jamie Hayter looks superb in this matchup. Riho has definitely polished her craft when it comes to, since her first time as the women's champion. Hayter gets the win after the Haterade, and a great matchup right there on AEW. MJF's concert and Battle of the Pillars. I didn't like the concert part. I thought that it was a pushback to what him and Jericho did, and I just think that it was not. It was really, really them trying to, grasp at straws. But Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, and the Darby Allin, all kind of showing their faces and pushing themselves harder to get a shot at Max's title. That's what I want to see. That's what we saw here. And then Guevara went to the ring to take on Commander and had a great 15-minute back and forth battle in which Sammy got the win after his go to hell and then cut one of the best promos I've heard from this young man in quite some time. And look, you could boo Sammy Guevara because he's a heel. But I hear people booing him because he left his girlfriend and started dating Tay Mello and then, married her and whatnot. No, boo them for what they do inside of the ring, not for what they do outside of the ring, unless they are becoming a total and utter waste of human space. You understand? Sammy Guevara, though, in my book, doing a great job in AEW. And then finally, FTR took on the Gun Club for the AEW World Tag Team titles, and it looked like the Gun Club with their crazy big entrance was going to be the winners here tonight, but no. FTR took these kids to school, got an incredible win, and are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. 2-time AEW World Tag Team Champions, 10-time World Tag Team Champions overall in 7 different companies. Great job by the top guys. I can't wait to see more from FTR in AEW. And now we move on to SmackDown. And SmackDown's opening matchup was a six-man tag between the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. And I have to say, although we've seen this match a couple times before, they actually went all out and gave us a new match. It was not just the constant Imperium triple teaming, face in parallel, heels, getting the win. Here comes Sheamus, here comes Ridge. No, this was entirely back and forth brawl. No pun intended to the Brawling Brutes. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Sheamus gets the win for his team. The Brawling Brutes are back up. Banger after banger after banger. Triple H then announced the WWE draft, and I am 100% behind this, although I don't know if the brand split is still going on because guys are crossing over constantly between Raw and SmackDown and even NXT. But whatever the case may be, the WWE draft will happen in a couple of weeks. Interesting to see what will happen. I will probably think that it will happen after the Endeavor deal is completely done, and then they go back to full-on brand split, but you never can tell. But it should make things interesting no matter how it goes down. Then we had Damian Priest and Dominic taking on Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. The LWO is back, ladies and gentlemen. Zelina Vega looked amazing in that mask, and then without the mask and the LWO shirt. Damian and Dominic get the win after a good back and forth tag match. Damian took out Santos Escobar with his choke slam, gets the win for his team. I'm kind of hoping that the Judgment Day's feud with Edge is done, and I'm hoping we can get them away from Rey. And I'm really hoping that we can get Rhea away from everybody in general and keep her as a separate entity when it comes to her being the women's champion. Then we go to our main event, Jey Uso taking on Sami Zayn. Again, a match we've seen quite a few times, but again, they kept it fresh. Good back and forth action. Jey actually got the win, which was surprising because I thought Sami was going to continue this push, but no big deal. Doesn't hurt him. Jey gets the win. After the matchup, Solo Sikoa comes out to attack Sami, put him down with a Samoan spike. Jey stops him and then gives him a super kick. And Matt Riddle comes out and saves Jey because Kevin was taken out backstage by Solo. So I guess we're looking at a six-man tag at Backlash, which it's probably not going to be Cody anymore. It'll be Cody and Brock Lesnar, I think, at Backlash. But we'll be looking at Riddle, Owens, and Zayn taking on the Usos and Solo Sikoa. No big deal. Should be great. But I think the six-man tag is getting worn out a little bit, so might have to pull back on the reins a little bit, WWE. Over on AEW Rampage at 10 p.m. on Friday night, Hook took on Ethan Page again in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup, and once again got the win. Hook has been on a tear. He's been getting win after win after win over Stokely Hathaway's firm. And this is the second time this week he beat Ethan Page. So good matchup. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't seen it yet over there on YouTube. And then Lee Moriarty taking on Darby Allin in a one-on-one matchup. These two killed it, in my opinion. Incredible back and forth action between both men. Really, really well done. And then AEW Rampage led to AEW Battle of the Belts same night, but 1 hour apart. Battle of the Belts 6 was highlighted by the opening match of Orange Cassidy taking on Dralistico with the international title on the line. Dralistico, I'm a little blank when it comes to him. I don't know much about him, but he did a pretty good job, and Orange got the win after a little bit of comedy. I'm a little weirded out still. The international or All Atlantic or whatever you want to call it belt really doesn't match Orange Cassidy. I think he might be better with the TNT title, but who am I to say? But he still gets the win after a good matchup. And then a main event, Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall getting a shot at the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles as they took on the Lucha Bros. It always confuses me whether it's the ROH or AEW belts that are being defended. I don't even get why this Battle of the Belts happened if you were going to put an ROH title on the line. It makes no sense, but whatever. Lucha Bros got the win after a highly competitive matchup that went 25 minutes in the main event. Phoenix and Pentagon over there representing Ring of Honor, and I think they definitely deserve it. Mark Briscoe, I assume, approves after all the wars that he and his brother had with the Lucha Bros. So moving on now to our final segment, the lowlight reel. A lot on this one this week, ladies and gentlemen. Number one from Stand and Deliver, Pretty Deadly hosting NXT Stand and Deliver. They were on the TV constantly, and it was some of the most annoyingest shit I've ever heard. It really needs to be put to an end as far as them cutting promos. Number two from Monday Night Raw, Bianca Belair's in-ring promo. I'm done with the Bianca experiment. I've said it before. She really doesn't know how to cut a promo. It's always the same damn thing, and she is botchy in that ring. And I think that if her and Rhea get in the ring together, I think Rhea should unify both belts, but that's just me. Number three, Scripps trying to attack Axiom on NXT, but no, he failed. When he went to flip into the ring, Axiom caught him with a nice super kick a la HBK Shawn Michaels. So great job there by Axiom. Number four, Real One, formerly known as Enzo Amore, in-ring promo from MLW this week. That's right, even though he was announced as being let go on Tuesday morning, MLW records weeks in advance, so he was still there, and it was just a lot of blabber back and forth, talking about this, that, and the other, and it's just like, dude, shut up and wrestle. Number five, the Outcast promo backstage in AEW. These girls really need to just shut up and wrestle too. I mean, we're the Outcasts. We're going to beat them for the titles. We're going to do this. Fuck you guys. We're Paige. We're this. We're Ruby Riott. We're this. We're Toni Storm. We get it. We know who you are. You cut the same promo for the last 2 months. Shut the hell up. Number six, Tony Khan's announcement about All In. This was not a major announcement. This was something that could have happened on their website or on YouTube or on, Instagram. But he announced that All In will take place in Wembley Stadium in London, England. I get it. They're excited about having an international pay-per-view. I understand completely. But I don't think the AEW fans are going to pack Wembley Stadium with their 70 or 80,000 people in order to make that thing look great. So, in my opinion, it was a bust announcement. Number seven, also from AEW, the Blackpool Combat Club's attack on AEW Dynamite after the main event. I'm getting real tired of them just attacking and Moxley bleeding, and now Daniel Bryan's back, and he's doing the same damn thing he always does when he's a heel. He says that he's the best, and he says everybody else is fickle and not the best, and they're the real wrestlers, and it's become overdone. All of these guys, except for Claudio, needed to take a much-needed 1 month break from AEW and come back as something different. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Moxley constantly bleeding. I'm tired of all the promos that say they're the best. I get it. That's what you do as a heel. But you know what? At what point do we realize they're not the best because they're just pretty much there? And it's AEW. Number eight, LA Knight and Xavier Woods feuding over a video game on SmackDown. That's right. LA Knight was bitching that Woods had a spot on WrestleMania because of the WWE video game. And then Woods said, well, maybe if you did something extraordinary like I do, you'd get a spot. No, Woods. All you guys play video games. It's ridiculous. LA Knight not being on WrestleMania was a crime. And Xavier Woods being in that group of people who played a video game to decide who was going to win the match during both nights was ridiculous. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And number nine, QTV segment on Rampage. QT Marshall has now got his own sort of gossip show during AEW Dynamite and Rampage and whatnot. It's a big old blur, I have to say. They're just, yeah. QT Marshall is not interesting in any way, shape, or form. But then give him his own show in the middle of a show where he makes fun of people. Yeah, no, you lost to Cody 5 times, guys. All right, Powerhouse Hobbs needs to be nowhere near them, in my opinion. And it was just really, really, really bad. So, with that being said, as always, I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting everything on WrestleNet Radio, such as A Slice in Time, the year that was the We Can't Wrestle podcast, If You Smell What the Art Is Cooking, and the Nothing But Trouble podcast, as well as Reliving the Extreme. I will be back next time with more in-ring action and promos and everything wrestling from here on out. I will see you next time on If You Smell What the Arch Is Cooking.